Good morning, everybody. Welcome to another edition of Bedford County Sports Live. I'm David Thomas. This is Mr. Bill Anderson. Bill, good to have you with me this morning. It's good to be here after a couple of big wins last night for Bedford County Schools. Let's thank our sponsors first. We want to thank First Bank here of Shelbyville on Madison Street, Kincaid Service Company also on Madison Street, and Hernandez Tree Service right here in Shelbyville. Three great businesses, three great sponsors, and we appreciate them being a part of the show. Bill, let's jump right in.
Did you know you got a new sponsor?
No.
I'm going to catch you off guard.
All right.
After what I've been through this week, it's Aleve Back and Muscle.
Back and Muscle, okay.
Because every muscle and every joint in my body hurts.
All right, so you emptied Normandy Lake, then you clean fish, then you soak fish, then you cook fish, then you serve fish. And you had some help in there in the process. But
I'm going to start with this one. I don't think you folks realize how much work's involved in something like this. But Randy Clanton's done it for years, and he's done so much good stuff for a lot of people, from the pregnancy center to charity to kids and everybody else. But the biggest amount of work is getting it ready.
Yeah.
So Randy, the night before on Thursday night, it's Caleb Doak and it's Billy Beach, and Randy are having to clean those cookers and get them ready. That's a tremendous amount of work. Well, my end was the fish. I got 3 or 4 guys lined up to help me. One shows up.
Oh, my goodness.
And a shout out to Brian Crumball, my buddy from Tullahoma, always comes through for me every time. If he hadn't come, I don't know how we would have done it. We had 325 pounds of fish, 100 pounds of ice, constant flushing. My water bill is going to be sky high. My house stinks. My truck stinks.
Oh, gosh.
But it was a tremendous amount of work to get it all together, but it was worth it. Special shout out to Randy Clanton and Billy Beach and Caleb Doak, who helped cook. We had tons of help cooking once we got there. But I want to give a shout out because I had these coolers, and I got to get them there. And I did it to where I didn't have to pick them up, so we're putting them in the cooler. Well, these coolers are heavy. I mean, massive. Mason Shavers, William Bobo, and Stephen Bobo met me at 12:30 in high school, and Mary Lady Shavers, Mason's mom. So the boys are having trouble getting the coolers out. It's kind of funny. Mason's up there pushing it. I said, boys, come on. You're young. Shout out to the boys. They got the coolers out. They didn't break the coolers because I was scared to death. The coolers, as heavy as that is, the cooler can just explode. And break. But it didn't. And a great job by the boys. But I want to commend Mary Lita Shavers. And I tried to get her to give me a list of names of all those wonderful parents last night. And she didn't want to single anybody out, so I'm going to give her all the credit.
All right. There you go. Mary Lita.
Great. And I thought, and David, you were there too, I thought they did a wonderful job in the cafeteria.
Yeah, I got some video footage I'm going to put up on Bedford County Sports of some of these ladies that helped. When I went through the line to get my to-go boxes, I got a shot of them all down through there. They were all wearing pink because it was pink out night. And these are moms. These are people that were just helping, grandmoms, aunts, uncles, whoever. And then when I was in line, it was a pretty good line going through. So you had a good turnout, Bill. And it's not happened at Shelbyville Central High School in a long time.
Yeah, it had the atmosphere, because I did a lot of cooks at Cascade I've done, and the parent involvement out there is wonderful. That had a Cascade feel to me last night.
Yeah.
You had parents, people from all different walks of life, young, old.
Right.
It was a great turnout.
Yeah, it was.
Great group. And I want to thank Bubba D. McCullough, too, because we had trouble with a warmer with one of the we were blowing the breaker. And D goes and gets a cord. D fixed us up.
Yeah.
And I also want to give a shout out to Charlie Pope, the principal.
Yeah.
I see a difference in that school.
Yeah, the culture is changing.
The culture's changing.
Yeah, it is.
It's good.
You hear people talking about it too.
Right.
And that's a good thing. That's good for the community, good for the city of Shelbyville. And it's good for the kids more than anything.
Right.
And let's talk about the game.
Go back one more thing. I want to thank Coach Dryden and his staff too. And this one thing I wish y'all could get me. They came up there and I got we took a picture. Somebody get me that picture. I would love to have it blown up with the staff. And it was me and Coach Dryden and the staff. And I thought it was so nice of them to come up.
Right.
And thank everybody like the whole coaching staff did. The quality staff we got here in Shelbyville, Coach Dryden and his bunch.
Yeah, well, I've got video evidence of you guys working hard out there cooking. It's on Bedford County Live.
I heard everywhere. There's nothing on me that don't hurt.
Well, just keep taking the Aleve.
Our sponsor.
All right. All right, let's talk about the ball game. Shelbyville comes out. They lose the toss, but Lincoln County accepts the ball first. They get it first. Typically they defer to the half, but they took the ball, and there was a reason for that. They had a game plan, and they wanted to execute it quick, and they did. They marched down the field and put 7 on the board. Mm-hmm. I'm not saying our defense didn't play good, but we were out of position here and there. There's a few little things. they passed the ball on us.
That's the one thing in a game like that you can't let happen.
Yeah.
You got somebody that you need to hit in the mouth.
Right.
And then you let them come out and and they've got confidence now.
Yes, they
because,
did.
Unfortunately, like last year, we were the hunting. We were hunting.
Right.
We're the hunted now.
Yeah.
Everybody's coming with their best game for Shelbyville.
Right.
Because we're at the top.
Right. Well, we won the game. I expected a bigger margin of victory.
Mm-hmm.
I was thinking that we might even could get a running clock on Lincoln County, but they're better than I thought they were. And we had too many turnovers.
We didn't play well.
No, we didn't play well. We
didn't block well. It was
we
like
didn't tackle
we were waiting.
Early.
It seemed like we were waiting for Rocky or Bailey to break that 80-yard run, and that was our offense. That's what it seemed to me.
Right. Well, and we've got a lot of people banged up. I know
a lot of injuries too,
yeah.
But our pass rush didn't seem like it was. That was probably the least amount of pass rush I've seen us have this year.
Right, and you got 2 hurt on the line. You got Radon Crenshaw that's fighting a shoulder injury, as well as Tarvis McLean. He's fighting a shoulder injury. So those guys are playing banged up. Well, we're going into the last week of the season banged up against Tullahoma on Thursday night. So you have less time to prepare.
Right.
Biggest rival on our schedule, playing we're going to go play for 9-1 and solid first place finish in the region. And we got 3 days really to prepare, counting the day. You got Sunday, tomorrow, Monday, and Tuesday. Wednesday is going to be like Thursday normally. So you really have 3 days to prepare and heal up. So Bill,
not only did you have the 3 turnovers, David, but another problem, and I'm just going to say it, the officiating last night was terrible. It seemed like they were trying to help Lincoln County down the field. We make a football play, there's a penalty. There was one play, and William Bobo, my namesake, makes a great catch on a 3rd and 8 from DeLauderd. They interfere with him. They're holding him to the point I don't see how William caught the football.
No.
William still catches the official standing right there, no flag.
Yeah.
Had we done that, they'd have called 3 flags on us.
Yeah, and then calls totally on the opposite side of the field from where the play is.
Rocky Chandler, 69-yard touchdown. The game's over. Rocky's we're on the sideline, David. He's almost in the end zone before the guy on the far side of the field picks the flag up after the fact.
And a chop block, and I don't even know what
that
means.
We've never had a chop block all year.
2 chop block calls.
Hadn't had one all year.
And I don't think
That's
they
not
even
how
know
we
what
block.
a chop. No,
it's not.
I don't know what if they even know what a
people
chop.
that run the wing T like Lawrenceburg, you do some chopping because you're blocking knees and blood. That's not how we block. That's not our scheme.
We got out of the game with a win, but now for 2 or 3 weeks, I feel like that we've lost some momentum. So we've got to catch it back in 3 days.
I felt like, to me, on the sideline last night, the energy level wasn't where it has been.
Right.
That's the way I felt.
Right. Yeah.
Now,
all right,
Tullahoma, you better have your energy up.
Yes. And our crowd needs to get its energy because they're going to bring a crowd.
They are.
They might bring more than we've got at home.
Some friends of mine in Tullahoma are quite confident that they're going to be able to throw the football on us.
Right.
And they're very confident.
Well, that's their game.
Yeah.
That's their game. So.
Now, they're going to be well coached, but I will say I think Shelbyville has more speed and better athletes.
Yes.
But we're going to have to get back to some physicality in this game Thursday night. We need to be the more physical team.
I think
we need to blow them off the ball at that line of scrimmage on defensive and offensive line.
I think the key to the game is us getting pressure on their quarterback.
Absolutely.
Because he's not a runner.
Pass rush back.
He's not a runner.
No.
He can throw it.
Yes.
If he's standing there without any pressure on him.
And you're going to have to watch the slants. And that'll be a key for William Bobo in particular. If he's guarding the slot or whoever's guarding it, that's going to be tough. But I thought last night, too, I'm going to give a shout out to Stephen Bobo as well. They were trying to pick on a freshman corner.
They learned
the lesson. He goes up and had an interception with his left hand that was Odell Beckham-like and grabs that sucker and made several other huge breakups.
Oh, yeah. A lot
of big passes that saved us last night.
Yeah.
True freshman.
Yeah. Well.
And how about a shout-out to Logan McBee last night? 13 tackles, 2 for a loss. He was out there.
Yeah, he was there. They knew he was there.
But let's give Coach Dryden some credit. We were standing there, and it's 4th and 1, and we're inside our 40. And I looked at you and I said, "Get the ball to Crenshaw and go for it." And I think Gary Johnson was standing there and he goes, "No, they can't do that." And I looked at Gary and I said, "They need to give it to Crenshaw."
Yeah.
And then Crenshaw mans
busted,
it.
What, 40,
he busts
50
yard run right there. And then you probably had a chance to tack on another touchdown.
Yeah, but
Coach Dryden does the right thing, takes the knee.
Takes the knee.
And gets the W.
Well, it was I think it was an important win because you can't lose going into Tullahoma
No.
to Lincoln County. So,
and you're not going to play well every Friday night, and you
No.
got to be able to handle that adversity when you don't play well and still find a way to win.
right. Region
The problem is, in my opinion, we haven't played well in 3 weeks since the bye.
Yeah.
I was hoping we could get a get-right game here.
Yeah. We got to get right.
But this should be a wake-up call to our kids. We're
Right.
not as good as we think we are.
Right.
And you're going to have to get out there and get after it.
Got to play ball.
I mean, bouncing around, jumping around, some energy.
Yeah, right.
And
right.
Thursday night, there needs to be, and our crowd needs to come out and be loud.
I was a little disappointed with our crowd last night.
I was too.
I looked up and I saw a lot of empty seats. I was like, we're 7-1. And
I almost felt like we had more people to Fish Friday we had at the game.
Yeah. Yeah.
So I didn't understand.
People got to pack the stands Thursday.
Because let me tell you something. Tullahoma's going to bring a crowd over here,
Right.
They're going to bring 3,000 or 4,000 people.
One thing I'm hopeful. I know we play on Thursday night, and Cascade has come to our games in the past. A lot of the players and coaches. I hope they bring some of their crowd over to watch, and then we can go watch them. They got a road trip. I know it's a long road trip. But anyway, let's talk about the Cascade game.
15-9, they lost to Fayetteville, and again, from what I have been told, the officiating was more than questionable.
More than questionable.
And again, you go on the road like that, and it's hard. It's hard to win a football game anyway, but it's really hard when you're playing the other team.
And you got that stacked against you. And Fayetteville is probably the best 4 and 5 team in the state of Tennessee. Yeah. They have athletes.
As Coach Tyre said on his show, he said they probably had played the toughest schedule.
Right.
In 2A.
Yeah.
I mean, they played Marshall. They played big boy Giles County, Marshall County.
Yes. And did you see what Marshall County did last night?
No, what did they do?
60-7. I forget who they played, but it was I'll pull it up here. Marshall County 60, Whites Creek 18. I mean, they have won, since they lost to us, Shelbyville, they have been rolling.
They're rolling.
All right. But the Cascade had a tough game, low scoring game.
Yep.
And looking at the demeanor.
Which was the kind of game Coach Tyre wanted. I mean, this was the kind of score, what he wanted, and it just didn't come out favorable for Cascade.
A bad call here and a bad call there cost you a ball game, and I
think
that's what happened.
I think that's what happened too.
So they go to 5-4 now, but they're still going to playoffs.
Got to go to Marion County. They won 42-7 over Cannon County.
Yeah,
and it's going to be a tough road.
It is going to be a tough game, but
Moore County beat Chapel Hill last night, 35-10. Moore County's still rolling undefeated.
Yeah.
I
think they're going deep in the playoffs.
Tullahoma beat Spring Hill 29-7. James Lawson 3, Columbia 38. Franklin County gets their second win of the season last night, 31-30. Page, and the reason I'm going to mention it, that's the region we match up with Shelbyville. They upset Centennial last night, 24-14. That's Centennial's first loss.
Right. And we scrimmaged Page early.
We did
in the year. And we played them very well.
Played well with them.
Now,
we're a lot better now.
They're better, and we're better
too.
Yeah.
Page throws it really well.
All right, let's talk about
the big game of the night.
Community. Red Bull and
Coach Grooms, Coach Edie. Congratulations.
Yes, this was big for the program.
Yes. Hats off to these kids who are over, and they go out there and give that kind of effort last night. 46-44 community upsets Red Bull and Springs.
As we've talked about, and as Coach Grooms has talked about, Coach Edie has talked about, they got freshmen and sophomore. They're basically playing with a junior varsity team with a handful of upperclassmen. So hats off to them. Red Bull and Springs have won some ball games this year.
Yeah, they were
4-4. And to go and win that game like they did at half, they had a pretty good lead. At 38-15, I think, at half. And obviously they held on to win, and it's just a big game for the program. So hats off.
And I'll be excited Wednesday to have my purple on.
That's right.
The Coach Grooms show right here on Wednesday afternoon at 5:30. I can't wait to see Coach Edie and Coach Grooms. Congratulations to you and your kids, and just wonderful effort and not quitting.
It will be a great day for a coaches show.
It will be a great day for the community coaches show come Wednesday. Great day.
All right, let's move on to Webb. Let's see. I just had their score pulled up here. BGA 51, Webb 6. They've just had a tough year.
Well, when the bracket move up,
I know it kills them.
Killed them.
It puts them in a category where they just don't need to be.
Like Coach said when he started the year, he had 25 varsity players and 5 8th graders.
Right.
8th graders.
I know. It's tough. but they'll keep fighting.
Yep.
They'll keep fighting. It'll make them better
Yep.
For down the road. So, you got any other scores? You've
No.
gone over pretty much
Pretty much hit all those scores.
Wilson Central beat Warren County last night, 20-12. That's we played them earlier. Is the reason I bring them up. And it looks like the big game this coming week is Shelbyville, Tullahoma.
That's the game.
It's the game.
All the marbles. It's all right here, and it's right here in Shelbyville. Yep. Home game.
So get out and support the Central
Thursday night. Everybody's got to remember it's not on Friday. It's on Thursday.
Yeah, don't forget that.
Can't reiterate that enough. And we need a crowd
for sure.
We need people vocal and get out and support these kids. And let's win the region.
Yes, absolutely.
Let's win it.
Let's take a little break right now, Bill,
okay.
And here have a word from our sponsors, First Bank and Hernandez Tree Service. We'll be right back right after this break.
Old
we want to thank our sponsors, and one of those, Bill, is Kincaid Service Company. A couple of years ago, I bought a refrigerator, and the Kincaid crew had to come put it in because it was a tight squeeze. They had 4 or 5 guys out there getting that thing positioned. They had to saw part of the wall to get it to fit. Hats off to them. You don't see service like that anywhere else. Go to one of the big box stores and see if
see what happens. Then you're gonna pick up whatever the item is, and then you're gonna take it home, hook it up yourself. Then you got to haul the other one off.
Yeah,
that's the big thing about Kincaid's.
Yeah, you're on your own. They'll bring their truck.
Kincaid's brings their truck. They put your television, your washer and dryer, whatever in it. They take your old one off. You don't have to do it.
Yeah,
that's huge.
It's easy. All you got to do is go to Kincaid.
And if it breaks, you call Kincaid. You call Eve Kincaid, say, hey, come out and fix it. And they come fix it.
Kincaid Service Company.
All about the service.
It is about the service. All right, Bill, let's talk some college football.
We're going to forget about my Aleve sponsorship.
Aleve sponsorship.
Aleve, back and joint, helping me this morning.
It's keeping you alive today. All right, of course, the big game is the Tennessee-Alabama game this afternoon. Bill, what do you think is going to happen in this one?
I worry about being on the road because I haven't seen Tennessee play well on the road.
Yeah.
And if you're going to have the pre-snap penalties that we've been having on the road, it puts you behind the 8 ball where you can't run the football. The key to this team is running the ball. Joe Milton needs to run the ball.
He's going to have to.
You have to.
He's going to have to.
Now, I do think that there's an opportunity against Alabama here to take some shots down the field. If you watch the A&M game, if we start to run the ball, Saban's bringing those safeties up. We've got to be able to connect down the field.
Yeah.
So now, there's a chance. I think Tennessee could do really well today. Or there's a chance this could go the other way.
I'm not confident in seeing that long ball being accurate enough because we don't have height and we don't have.
Well, am I confident that Mr. Keaton can catch it? If you put it right in his breadbasket, I've watched he's dropped 4 touchdowns this year.
Yeah. Well, it's going to be an interesting game.
And somebody like one of those freshmen, Leacock, I think is his name, or somebody like that's got to step up now that you've had the end. Somebody you've not been seeing has to step up for this team. But the key for Tennessee may be, in my opinion, they may have the better defense. And I can't remember the last time I said Tennessee had a better defense than Alabama.
I think the run game's going to be key.
It is the key.
Alabama's defensive line is not what it's been over the last 3 years. So I feel like that we've got a slight advantage having Mays back at center for the last 2 or 3 weeks. And I assume everybody else is healthy. I hadn't seen. If we can get off the ball, we can run the ball. And I hate to even mention this. I know we have this up-tempo offense, but I think we're going to have to slow the game down.
That's where you got to give Coach Hype a lot of credit. this is not what he wants to do.
Right.
And instead of trying to hit the square peg in the round hole, he's adapted to what his kids can do.
Right.
And that's the mark of a good coach.
Yeah, absolutely.
Now, defensively, the turnovers are always the key.
Right.
But I have a feeling Saban's been rattling the swords, asking the crowd it's going to be electric this time because he wants the fans out here for this one.
Yeah, well, they will be. They will be.
But if Tennessee could get up, I think it could be nice for the Vols.
Yeah.
Because I think defensively we can get after their quarterback pretty good because the pass rush for Tennessee is excellent.
What do you think about home field advantage here?
It's huge for Alabama.
I know.
I think if this game was in Knoxville, I would be taking the Vols.
Okay. So what do you take? What are you saying?
I'll take Alabama, but I think Tennessee covers the line at 8.5.
Okay. All right.
I'm going to go with Bama.
I'm with you.
Close ball game.
Yeah.
Field goal to touchdown, 3 to 7
David
points.
Smith is just came on, and he's talking about the Cascade Lady Champion Soccer, which they won the region this week. And now they play in their sectional against Cheatham County at 2:00 at Cascade Field. So
nice.
This afternoon, get out and support those girls there in the sectional. And that's a big step. That's a big year for them.
It's great.
So thanks for giving us that shout out, David.
Absolutely.
All right. National-wise, on the national scene, we've got Ohio State and Penn State.
What a ball game.
I tell you, we're going to find out what Ohio State has. I've had a big question mark about them all year.
Upset special.
Yeah.
I'm taking Penn State in the outright upset.
I'm with you on that one, Bill.
That's a 4.5-point dog, and I'm taking a money line, as Todd Bobo would say, on the money line.
Yeah. Penn State's been in our top 10 all year in that 6 and 7 spot.
Right.
This is their chance to propel up into that top 4 spot. So I think if they get to win here, that's going to put them in a good position.
Penn State's lost 7 in a row. I don't know if James has beat Ohio State. I don't remember.
Well, let's talk about that just for a second. 10 years ago, 8 years ago, 6 years ago, Penn State was dead.
Oh, it was dead
because of all the controversy and all the turmoil that program went. I heard commentators say they will never turn this program around. James Franklin shows up. Well, look what he's done.
He did it at Vanderbilt.
Yes, he did.
I mean, you'll never see the job that man did at Vanderbilt, winning 9 games.
I know.
Several times.
I know. To me, he's the coach of my lifetime as far as somebody coming in and making that much of a difference. I've never seen anybody else do what he's done.
Really, my daughter will kill us for saying this, but my little girl was maybe 4 or 5, and I took her to several Vanderbilt games, and Coach Franklin picked my child out of the lineup, and he says, "Is that your child?" And I said, "Yeah, Coach, this is my little girl." He got the cheerleaders to come over with her and have pictures and pom-poms. I've still got that photo of Julia. It was just a great day. And then we went to several games after that. And you could notice that back then the crowd was different. It's gone back the other way now.
Yeah. Yeah. Oh, yeah.
You've gone back to that older group. You had younger people come into the games, and it was a different environment at Vanderbilt. But I think that was Coach Franklin's frustration was even when he won 8 or 9 games, he was in the minority and had 15,000 fans there. Yeah. I don't care if they were playing anybody decent, the visitors out, then I think that wore on him a little bit.
Yeah. Well, he's done an outstanding job, and
Wonderful
I think
job.
This is our chance to.
And I'm surprised another university hasn't poached him from Penn State.
Well, that's a pretty good job.
It is.
That is a pretty good job. Let's talk about some more college football. You mentioned this earlier, and we were talking off camera. We got Duke and Florida State playing. Michigan State playing, and then you've got
ugly.
Oh yes,
ugly.
Yes.
How has Michigan State fallen? Just the coaching thing? Is that what it is?
It's got to be. It's got to be.
Because they were pretty good a couple of years ago, and now they're awful.
And they're not utilizing the portal like some of these other colleges are. All right, then you've got Texas playing at Houston. You've got North Carolina, Virginia, but in the SEC, Ole Miss, Auburn. What do you think about this one?
This one's interesting because this is my wife is an Auburn graduate. Hugh Freeze is there, who used to be at Ole Miss.
I know. There's another.
There's a rub there, I would think.
Underlying story.
I think Ole Miss has just got too much firepower for Auburn, and Auburn doesn't have enough offense. However, it's at Auburn, and you never know.
Yeah, I mean, I've seen years when they've had a losing record, and they're going to give Alabama all they got. They're going to give Ole Miss all they got.
The line's 6.5, but I like Ole Miss to win the ball game. But I think it's going to be closer than people think.
Yeah. There's not as many college games this week.
South Carolina, Missouri. Missouri's playing well, David.
They are.
And South Carolina cannot play defense.
No.
So a little pick 'em we do with a bunch of the guys. they ask you to pick the team that's going to score the most points this week. I took Missouri of all of these
I
games
agree
to
with
score
you.
the most points. They may put
Yeah.
up 70 on South Carolina
They could
today.
do it. They could do it.
Now, South Carolina may put up 50, but that game's going to be 59-47. It's going to be high scoring.
You know what's going to happen now, don't you? It's going to be 13-10.
Not with that defense. Not with that defense. It's not.
All right.
No way.
So, what other games jump out at you, Bill, that you're going to be watching and keeping an eye on?
Well, I'm going to go back to the Florida State game for a second because I think FSU's pretty good. But what a job Duke's done.
I know it.
You got to give some credit there, too.
2 years away from Cutcliffe leaving, and they're ranked 16th in the nation right now.
Had a great season.
Yeah, they have.
Clemson, who they got this week? Clemson's got Miami. That was another one I'm going to be watching.
That could be.
Dabo's going to have to start hitting the portal in the NIL thing and start doing what everybody else is doing because his talent level is not there.
They have slipped. And
I predict Miami beats Clemson today and they lose again.
Whoever has gotten behind the curve on this transfer portal is they've slipped.
Yes.
They've slipped back.
Yes.
And Clemson is one of these. And you look at some of the other teams, just like you mentioned Michigan State. I bet you if you look at their transfer portal activity, they're losing more than they're gaining. So it's changed the game completely. I'm not saying I like it, but you can rebuild a program in a year with this thing.
Oh, yeah.
And you've seen it happen. Or you can
lose in a year.
You can. Well, of course, then, going back again, we've got the big game, Tennessee, Alabama. I know everybody will be tuned in there. It'll be fun to talk about it next week.
Oh,
Bill.
Absolutely. Nothing better than Tennessee, Bama.
Yeah. Let's now shift to the NFL. What about our Titans, Bill?
Looks like a rebuild mode to me. I think Tannehill's hurt the same ankle he hurt before. I expect him to be out multiple weeks. The question now is, what do you do? You're going to find out in these 2 weeks because you got a bye week this week. Is Will Levis who you thought he was? We really don't know. We've only seen him play a quarter and a half in one preseason game.
Yeah.
That's it.
And what I saw.
To me, put him out there. Let's see what we got.
Yeah, might as well.
But I want to talk about these rumors about trades for a minute.
Yeah.
We're going to trade Derrick Henry. We're going to do this and that. Here's the thing you got to remember, David, and everybody listening. Derrick Henry, if you trade him, you got to get more than a 3 because you're going to get a compensatory 3 for Derrick Henry if he walks.
Yeah.
So it's got to be more than a 3 or it's not worth it.
I don't think you're going to get
And I don't think you're going to get more than that.
5 or 6.
Now, I've heard the Cowboys are very interested. They're calling. That would be a fit for him. The Ravens are interested. But if they traded him to the Ravens, I would be heartbroken.
Well, I've even heard the Browns.
And I've heard.
Yeah.
The Browns could use him.
And then DeAndre Hopkins' name comes up. He's played
your only weapon.
Hey, well, yeah.
And Will Levis, if you're going to throw Will Levis out there,
you got to have
Mr. Levis supposed to throw it to?
Well, you got to have him.
You got to
have DeAndre. I don't know.
And you need Traylon Burks to come back and play.
It's mind blowing to me. He has not been on the field enough for anybody to make an assessment, really, at this point.
And the other one I've heard that was Christian Fulton. The Titans are shopping him, and I know Coach Vrabel apparently didn't get along too good, but he's another one you're going to get a compensatory for.
Yeah.
Because he was a second-round pick.
Hang on to him.
So why would you take a 6th or 7th-round pick for somebody that you're going to get a 4 probably? It's probably a 4. It won't be a 3 like Henry. But you're going to get a 4th or 5th in compensatory because of where you drafted the guy.
Yeah, you got to hang on to him.
So that changes this trade thing because you got to remember if they were a high enough draft pick, there is compensatories involved in it.
Well, they got to sit tight on Henry.
Teams like San Francisco have made a living right over the years of those compensatory picks.
Yeah, they have.
And again, though, when you get a pick for a Derrick Henry, who's to say you don't blow the pick?
Yeah.
Because we've blown a bunch of draft picks around here in the last 10 years.
You got that right. We seem just can't hit them.
Especially offensive line.
Yeah.
Can't hit them. Now, that was the interesting thing. Do you have a new left tackle? I thought he was better, but he still wasn't very good.
No.
I mean, I'm just being honest.
Well, what about Tannehill and his injury? How long? What are your sources saying as far as him being out?
3 to 4 weeks.
3 to 4 weeks, counting this off week.
And at that point, are you rebuilding and you just go on with Levis and Malik?
I think you're already rebuilding.
I think that's where we're at. Yeah. I mean, I hate to say it.
What else in the NFL this week are you watching? Anything?
Yeah. How about the Detroit Lions at the Baltimore Ravens?
I
like Detroit.
I do too.
I like the way they play football.
Yep.
The Ravens are hard-nosed. That ought to be a barn burner.
Well, I tell you what, the way they're playing Thanksgiving Day is going to be a little different.
Absolutely. Watching the Detroit Lions on Thanksgiving Day.
I remember back when Barry Sanders played. That's what I look forward to. They were losing some still, but they were in the mix a little. But that made Thanksgiving a little bit more interesting when there's somebody going to come kick Detroit around. That's not happening this year.
No, it's not happening.
So who they played, you know? They play the Packers again.
I don't know who they play on Thanksgiving. How about Chargers at the Chiefs? The reason I'm going to mention that one is the Chargers always seem to play the Chiefs tough. I don't think this is a team, the Chiefs, that really need to go make a move at the trade deadline and get Patrick Mahomes a weapon.
Yeah.
He didn't have the receivers.
No,
he's still a great player. But outside of Kelsey, who does he really have?
Well, when he lost Tyreek Hill, it hurt him.
Sure, it did.
It hurt him.
And they didn't do anything in free agency to help him.
I'm puzzled by San Diego, though. I look at Justin Herbert, and I think he's probably top 3 quarterback in the NFL. I love that kid. I love the way he plays.
But at crunch time in the fourth quarter, he just doesn't do it.
I don't know. I don't know what is it because of the weapons he has or doesn't have.
And I think the Chargers may be one of the sorriest coached NFL franchises in the league.
I'll agree with that.
That guy's bad.
I think that's probably part of the problem, or the biggest part.
Because I'm always wondering, the Chargers on defense, on paper, and you look at them, man, they ought to be great.
Yeah.
And they never are.
Yeah.
Now, you got talent, so why aren't you better? But some of that coaching decisions he makes, he'll go for 2 at a weird spot, won't kick a field goal here. He should have beat the Chiefs twice last year, and the coach lost both games with coaching decisions both times.
Yeah, sure did.
Or they'd have been in the playoffs and they'd have won that division with just analytics. I forget analytics.
But
we're playing football.
That's right, and you can toss out all the stats and all that away when these two play.
Still football.
These two division rivals, they're going to go at it, and San Diego's going to give them their best shot. So
now the big game of the week is Miami at Philadelphia. David, that's a ball game.
Yeah, it is. So it could be a Super Bowl matchup.
2 Alabama quarterbacks that used to be on the same team.
Yep.
Rivals, Tua and Hurts. Yeah. It doesn't get any better than this.
Well, I'm saying that could be your Super Bowl matchup. I mean, if Miami's as good as we think they are, these two teams
don't you see this, whatever this is, as Todd Bobo would say, I take the over. I don't know what the over-under is.
Just take it.
Because there's going to be some points scored here. Philly's defense has not been as good as I thought it would be. I thought Miami's defense would have been better. They got Vic Fangio in as coordinator. Yep. It's not been very good.
No.
Tyreek Hill, though, how do you cover that guy?
You can't.
And if Waddle ever gets it going.
They got all the pieces.
And then they signed the kid what was the kid's name? The big boy out of Notre Dame that was up at they just got a receiver from the Bears that didn't work out. Played for Pittsburgh. I can't think of the guy's name. But the thing about Miami, too, is the way they run the football.
Yeah.
Ryan Mostert can run the ball. It was a shame what happened to rookie Kane out of A&M getting that injury. He's out about a month.
Well,
but they can run it. And of course, Philadelphia can run it. DeAndre Swift's been a great addition for them in the run game right there.
And, Hurts will pull the ball down when he has to and can get some tough yards. He's not just a quarterback that stands back there. He can move. And
I heard that Devonta Smith has not been getting the ball much ever since A.J. Brown started yelling at Hurts. He's been targeting him.
Yeah. Well, he's done pretty well.
But one thing I want to talk to you, David, do you think they're going to outlaw that eagle play?
I don't know.
I think they should. Because if I can't pull, but you can push, and we're worried about injuries on kickoffs, and we've taken that part away from the game because of injuries, somebody on that play, whether it's Hurts or some $20 million player, is going to be hurt for the year because of that play.
All right. Well, I saw in high school against Shelbyville's had 2 penalties this year called on them for pulling. But nothing for pushing.
But you can push. So if you can pull, you shouldn't be able to push.
That's right.
That's all I'm saying. So if I can't do it one way, why can you do it the other?
I don't know. It makes no sense to me. I don't know. It's one of the mysteries of football.
The Eagles run the play great, but eventually I think Mr. Hurts' career could be ended from this. Yeah. Or it's going to take time off. He's a big boy, but he's got 300-pounders on both sides hitting him.
Yeah, it's a difficult.
I wouldn't have my franchise quarterback that I paid $25-30 million taking that hit.
No.
Multiple times a game.
Yeah, I know. Well, it's
but this ought to be the ball game of the week right here.
Yeah, I agree with you.
And then San Francisco Monday night's got Minnesota. Minnesota without Justin Jefferson has no chance against the 49ers whatsoever. But the 49ers, again, McCaffrey's hurt. Deebo Samuel's hurt.
Yeah.
This seems the 49ers and the Titans, that it just seems like the injuries of both of them. Every year derail the 49ers.
I know it.
Best team in pro football.
It is, by far,
but
I think.
The injury bug.
Yeah.
Well, here we go again with it.
Another interesting week in the NFL, Bill, and we need to wrap things up.
Well, let's talk about what we got coming up. Monday night, Coach Tyre.
Monday night got Coach Jake Tyre with the Cascade Coaches Show. And then Tuesday at 6 o'clock, we
Coach
have
Dryden.
Coach Judd Dryden with the Judd Dryden Show talking
And I'm
about
sure he'll talk a lot more about the parents and give us some
Right.
specific names of who helped. And
then, of course,
by the way, the interesting thing was last night we left the warmer. Randy left the warmer for the boys, and all the kids after the game went up and had fish and hush puppies in the cafeteria. And then I think Coach Dryden sent everybody home. Todd was telling me desserts. So the boys all got a dessert to go home. Those desserts were wonderful.
Oh, yeah. There was just tables full of them.
Randy Clanton kept going in there and getting some,
bringing
it back out. He said, "Oh, his pie's good." And then Billy Beach said, "Where'd you get that?" Next thing you know, Billy Beach, he's having some pie.
Well,
but Caleb Doak's having to have him a little bit too.
I'm sure. Well, they all deserve it. They worked.
Caleb, I know you were hurting like me. Get you some Aleve back and joint. Caleb said his back was just robbing.
And speaking of our sponsors, we've got First Bank here in Shelbyville, Kincaid Service Company. Both of these two businesses right on busy Madison Street. Go by and see Kincaid and go see Brent at First Bank.
David, tell me about some landscaping.
Landscaping.
Some landscaping.
I got some landscaping done.
Who does a good job of that?
Well, I had some bushes trimmed and also had some mulch put in. Hernandez Tree Service.
They do that?
I didn't know they did.
Really?
But he was at my house and said, "Hey, I can fix you up." And I said, "Well, quote me a price." And he quoted me a price I couldn't believe. And I said, "Okay,
do it."
And he was done just like that. Did it in less than a day.
Nice.
Just a few hours he had it done. He had a lot
fall's a great time to get that done too.
Great time. But call Rocky at Hernandez Tree Service. They do landscaping. They do stump grinding. If you've got a stump in your yard you want to get rid of, they can make it disappear.
And they do it at a reasonable price.
Right,
I'm telling you, some of these folks, the quotes I've seen from other places on cutting trees down is ridiculous, but not Hernandez. Yeah. They are reasonable.
Well, I got a tree I'm getting ready to have him come take care of, but they do an outstanding job. And we thank all of our sponsors, but especially these three for Bedford County Sports Talk Live. And get out this week, support your local high school football teams.
Tullahoma, Shelbyville, Thursday, not Friday.
And Community's game is on Thursday as well.
Community's playing on Thursday as well.
Right. And then Cascade on Friday. And then Webb on Friday. Y'all get out, support the teams. Support this afternoon the Cascade Lady Champion soccer team. They're in action at 2 o'clock at Cascade. So if you're free, get out there, go check them out. Bill, we'll talk again next week. Guys, come back, watch us next week. Bring some friends with you. We'll be talking Bedford County Sports Live.
And I hope we've got a special guest next week. Mr. Charlie Pope, the principal of Central High School, should be with us next week.
And shout out to Kenny Parker, who is over at the Bell Buckle Craft Fair this morning, parking cars. He couldn't be with us this morning, but he'll be back in the seat next week as well.
Good deal.